This is Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. Helping you find emotional, spiritual, and physical balance. What does your future hold? It's time to find out with Psychic Suzanna.
Hello! You're in the right place. This is where you need to be. This is our next hour for growing, becoming better, and maybe getting some information that'll help us along our life. The show, Life with Psychic Suzanna, is centered around you and what can help you manage your life better every day. So always stay tuned to 1110 KFAB. Now, there's a couple things I want to tell you about. On Facebook, if you go to Life with Psychic Suzanna, you will have, join the group, you will be able to find out what's coming up on the shows, and I'll be able to tell you what we're going to have in the coming weeks. Oh, my God, you cannot believe how many good people we have coming up. And if you also go to Psychic Suzanna, you can download the show probably after Tuesday. 1110 puts it up probably on Monday, so you can always do repeats. Last week we had that wonderful interview with Ron about alcoholism and how to deal with it. Today we've got something a little bit different. We're going to be talking to Dr. Allan from Kids Inc., and we're going to be talking about how to handle the tantrums of our life. But before we go there, Jim, I just want you to know,
yes,
that as a psychic, I'm fantastic.
Oh, yes.
Okay. As a sweet and innocent person, I'm just fantastic.
We're tooting the own horn here.
Yeah,
that's all right.
All right, it's okay. By the way, if you don't say something good about yourself, nobody else is going to, so I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Here's the thing, though, Jim. I need you to know that of all the things, I am not the domestic goddess one would think I was.
Even though you claim this. I've noticed this the few times now we've been together.
So I brought you Hostess cupcakes.
I like that, thank you.
And I told you I baked them, right? And put them in little bags for you. It's hard to saran wrap up.
Oh, yeah.
But I actually brought you real food. Are you going to believe I baked it for you, or are you what? Tell me what you're thinking.
I'm thinking this is going to be good as far as you actually... I might have to stretch the imagination, expand the imagination on that one.
And say, whose kitchen was I in?
We're talking Bohemian Cafe.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
I had supper there. Have you ever had their sweet sauerkraut?
Yes, I have.
Oh, my God. It's so good you almost want to rub it over your body. But don't do it. We're on radio.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the last domestic thing I will do is I will bring you things that I pretend to cook. Mm-hmm. Okay? And it's all about pretending.
It works for me.
And Dr. Allan should know about pretending. Do you not, Dr. Allan?
I think I know about pretending, but I can't hear you. Can you turn yourselves up a little bit for me?
Oh, sure. Can you listen on the earphone, on the telephone?
I'm on the telephone, but I can't hear you guys real well.
Okay. Here's what you need to do. You and I will talk right now, okay?
Okay.
And you don't need to worry about anything else we talked about, but except for, Dr. Allan, you never want me to cook for you. Okay.
A deal.
All right.
Deal. I won't want you to cook for me.
Just keep that in mind. I still play with clay. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Allan, if you will.
I'm a social worker. I'm a play therapist. I teach and train therapists all over the world, and I've been doing it for 30 years. I love what I do. I'm pretty good at it, and I know kids. I've spent my career working with kids 12 and younger.
Marvelous, marvelous. You
and
know,
I think the best part is I practice what I preach. My wife and I have been married for 38 years. We have 3 boys we've raised. They're married. We have grandchildren. I'm now seeing the 3rd generation of what I believe in my own family, in my own life.
Marvelous, marvelous. I must tell you, I went to your website, Kids Inc., here in Omaha, and your picture with the hat. That is so cool. Tell me exactly what you believe is the best things we can teach our children.
Say that again?
Tell me what you believe is the best things we can teach our children.
Gosh, and you're only giving me 10 minutes.
No, I'm giving you 2. You've got to really come.
The best thing we can teach our children is how to be God-fearing people. How we can appreciate that we're not in control of our destiny. There's something bigger and better than us, and that we have a relationship with Him. And if we can give that to our children, I believe many of the problems that children have will be at least more manageable.
Wow. That was great.
What were you expecting?
Well, I didn't expect that, to be real honest with you. I'll tell you why. When I do my appearances, I find so many don't take their children to church. And yes, there are churches that have limits, but in the beginning, I think a child needs that God-fearing understanding.
Listen, I have to tell you, if we don't appreciate that there's a little soul that we're all given to raise, and we don't have a respect for that soul, we don't treat it with that sort of holiness, then, what's spilled milk? We get all hung up over spilled milk or a bad grade. If we don't appreciate that we've been given a divine task to raise children, to infuse them with an appreciation of life, then it's a chore, it's an effort, and it's not any fun. And I think if in the 30 years that I've been doing that, that's the one message I would want to give to all the people that I touch.
That's a dynamic message. The thing I find is there are so many wounded people out there, wounded children.
Lots.
In adult bodies.
Yes. That's why I have to tell you, play is not just for kids. There's a lot of grown-ups out there who would love to play a game of Candyland, who would love to play Chutes and Ladders.
Wonderful. So you suggest to have playtime with your kids where you can become a child and be with them in that way? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yes and no. I mean, sometimes if we get into our kid, then we have to win. And we might want to have to beat our little kid to get to the top of King Frostine or Queen Frostine in Candyland. We have to learn how to share, so we can't get too much into our kid. But, we've lost. One of the things I tell all my parents is Sunday night, sit down with your spouse, your partner, and figure out where the week is. Because how many times do we look at each other and say, it's Sunday already, and a whole week went by, and everything has been taken from us. If we could see a Wednesday night, we have an hour together. That could be a precious time for a family to go get pizza, do a little game around the table, and do things together. So playing, it has to be part of the family evolution, or it's just a task. It's a job of getting to the next stage.
Well, that's wonderful. So we're going to take a little break, and then I'm going to let you think of the answers. I've got a couple scenarios.
Okay.
And the first one is in a grocery store with your kids, in line, full cart, and your child, beautiful child, the gift of God, is throwing a tantrum. I want you to tell us how we should handle the kids when they throw tantrums. Wait a minute. It could be our spouses who are throwing tantrums. Wait a minute. It could be anybody. Let's talk about the tantrums in our life and how do we handle them in public places when we're not sure we're ready. And we'll be right back with you. By the way, after we're done with Dr. Allan, we're going to be taking your calls, so stay tuned. Well, you're back with Life with Psychic Suzanna at 1110 KFAB. You can also find us at PsychicSusanna.com or Life with Psychic Suzanna on Facebook. Right now, we have with us someone on the phone from Kids Inc. I'm really liking his thoughts. Hello, are you there,
Hi.
Dr. Allan? Okay. I got to tell you, Dr. Allan, I think one of the problems with this day and age, which is, not really a problem, it's a glorious thing. When my husband and I came together, we've been together 30-some years, he had 3, I had 2, and we had 1 together. So there's so many mixed marriages now where, you have a stepchild. And is the disciplining, is the tantrum handling different with a stepchild if the parent, the natural parent, isn't in the room?
Wait a minute. Let's go back to the original thing about a temper tantrum. First of all, If you don't think in terms of temper tantrum, then you're going to always be caught off guard. And it doesn't matter if you have a mixed family like you've described, if you're a single parent, or if you're a family together. If you don't anticipate your child to have a temper tantrum in the worst case scenario, then you will be thrown a curveball and you will fail in your parenting. So that's the first thing. You have to always anticipate your child to be in the most inopportune time and place to let you know they're not happy with you. The second is that you have to be...
I love
Does that. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay, the second is if you're not prepared, and again, depending on the age, I mean, if it's a 2 to 5-year-old, a 7 to 10-year-old, if you're not prepared at that moment to let them know that you're willing to stop the world to help them grow up to be a healthy human being, then you will lose in your parenting forever. So if you're in the final checkout point in the line and your child has a temper tantrum and you're not willing to stop everything, to take your child out of the cart or out of the grocery store to let them know that it's unacceptable, then you will not be able to succeed in parenting in the future. That's how dramatic your response needs to be to a temper tantrum, because they know they've got you at that point. And it's not right to bribe. It's not right to negotiate. You never negotiate with a terrorist. And you have to move on. You have to move on. And if the people at the end of the line are complaining, let them complain. But your child will know that what's important to you is that there's a certain way to behave to their mother, to their father, and to the people around them. So it doesn't matter, Suzanna, it doesn't matter whether you've got a mixed family, a single family. Those two principles, I believe, are the most important. One, always anticipate the worst, and second, be ready to act on the worst. Now, one more thing.
Okay.
If you anticipate the worst, then you'll know that when you get to that line, you better have something to sort of distract your child, or you better have something to entertain your child. You know, you have to be proactive in this, too, not just reactive.
Well, you know, I find one of the hardest things is, in this day and age, you have to take your children with you sometimes to the store. I mean, but, you know, that's not their place. That's not they're grown. So what do you suggest? Because if the partner is not available to stay home with the kids while you go shopping, what do you suggest we do in the store how do we entertain them?
That's the proactive part.
Okay.
If you anticipate taking a couple, 3 kids to the grocery store, and you've got to do your major shopping, that's suicide. You're setting yourself up.
I think so, too.
Well, that's why I'm talking about being proactive. That means that if you're going to go shopping, maybe you break it down into 3 little pieces, and you take all 3 to do a 20-minute cereal row, vegetable row, shopping, but you don't do your whole row. That's setting it up. That's not fair to kids, by the way, and it's certainly not fair to yourself. Now, I know a parent's going to say, oh, but I don't have time for that. You know what? Maybe not going to a soccer game. Maybe not running off into 10 different directions and talking on your cell phone all the time can be limited so that you can spend a little time helping your child navigate and negotiate things like this in life.
You know, do you think that a lot of times kids are acting up because they feel they don't get the attention like in a store or in a place because they don't get it at home? So they
sometimes. I think that might be too simplistic. I mean, I think that is certainly a factor, but, you know, kids do that. You know, you're walking down the aisle, and why do we have now aisles that are candy-free, you know, checkout places? Because they're just things that stimulate a child to do that. And what happens if it's right before bedtime? It's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night. Children are tired. So I think there's a lot of factors.
Okay.
It's not just the attention factor.
Okay, so if I have a child who is disrespectful to me, who yells at me and says horrendous things in front of others, or whether it's in front of others or not. Let's just say if I have a child who's mouthing off to me and saying things, and mothers, it's like a knife to their heart. As a mother, you could do no worse than be yelled at by your child.
It's the same thing for fathers.
Is it?
A knife to their hearts, too.
A knife to their heart. How do we handle a child who's taking with their words, cutting you down? What do we do to them? How do we help them? How do we help them see they don't need to do that?
It goes back to the same principle that you have to be proactive. You always have to anticipate that children will do that. Second, you have to be able to be willing to act on the drop of a penny. You have to be willing to respond at that moment. You can't say, please don't do that. You can't give chances. There are certain things that you have to be able to act immediately on. I always give the example, when your child, why does your child have to use the seatbelt? And do you expect your child to use the seatbelt? And almost every parent says, of course. It's a non-negotiable parenting activity. Children get in the car, they hook up with their seatbelt, and remember when they were 2 and they arched and they tried to get out and they screamed, you didn't negotiate, you didn't coddle, you just took off. Things like being disrespectful verbally to a parent should be treated like the seatbelt. There's no negotiating. There's certain things. My particular approach is the timeout factor. You know, children have to spend time in their room. But I want you to also appreciate there's a very big difference between boys and girls. Boys will act out before preteen, and they'll let you know what they're really thinking in a disrespectful way. Girls explode around 12 or 14 years old, and then we aren't prepared to know how to treat them in parenting. So rolling of their eyes and stomping their feet is just as disrespectful as something that comes out of the mouth. And we have to be prepared to know how to parent that, too. I'm not sure this is the forum to talk about the specific parenting approach,
right.
But that would be my suggestion.
You know, I think sometimes we have a tendency not to call for respect.
Not to what?
Call for respect. I like how you began it by saying we have to have a fear of God. Is that what you said in the beginning?
I said that.
Did you?
Give me an amen.
Huh?
Give me an amen.
You did say that. Okay. So what we have to teach them is that there are repercussions for their actions.
Of course.
And the repercussions have to be instantaneously. Is that what you're telling us?
Yes.
In the instant that it happens, okay? All right. I want to thank you for being on air with us. I want to mention that you're at Kids Inc. Tell me about Kids Inc. What do you do there?
We provide a gamut of counseling services, individual, family, child, adolescent. We have a lot of group services. We do a lot of training in the Midwest. We have an office in Overland Park, Kansas, hopefully an office in Council Bluffs to be opened in the spring. And we're good. We've been around for 30 years, and there's 10 of us in Omaha, and there's 4 of us in Overland Park, and we know how to do kids. We really are good with kids and families.
Well, before I let you go, I want to ask you one other thing. You are author of a book, and the book is called An Allowance is Not a Bribe.
Right.
Give us a synopsis of the book.
Basically things like chores, bedtime, issue of friends. It's issue of friends. I mean, all the basic sort of things that some of the things we talked about tonight. It's about some divorce issues. It's about certain words that kids should and should not express. It talks about mad, sad, glad feelings. It's a good book.
Okay.
It's a good book.
And you are the author. Thank you, Dr. Allan, for being with us today. I would like to give out your number, if I may, for Iowa and Nebraska. The number is 402-330-4014. Again, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting me, and good luck with your show. Thank you.
God bless. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
That was Dr. Allan. Pretty interesting thing to be right there on top of the action. I don't know if I have the courage, Jim, to leave the cart with all the stuff in it and take my child out to the car. I'm glad but it sounds like a plan. And again, being retroactive is what he's talking about, being prepared like any good Girl Scout or Cub Scout would do. Again, you are listening to Life with Psychic Suzanna at 1110 KFAB. You find us at PsychicSusanna.com or Life of Psychic Suzanna at Facebook. Stay tuned. We're coming to your calls.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
We're back, and yes, you are in the right place. This is Life with Psychic Susanna. This is your show. Please let us know what you're thinking. Please let us know what you want. If there's anybody you think would be interesting to interview, please go on to the Facebook with Life with Psychic Suzanna and give us a suggestion. We're here to help you to grow and to help ourselves grow. You cannot talk to another person, and no matter what stage they are, without learning yourself. So as we go forward in our learning, I want to tell you about our next couple of weeks that we have coming up. Next week, we have Becky Whitehead. She is of the Unity Church here in Omaha. She has some really great ideas of how to handle family trauma, the grown-up trauma that we know so well at this time of the year. You know, around this time of the year, we come together and we have expectations of being a loving, wonderful family, but we are different personalities, and we have to be safe with being different. And Becky is going to tell us how to handle our family drama. And then the following week, which is the 22nd, we have Richard Moss. He is a phenomenal writer. You can look him up, and I will give you stuff on Life with Psychic Suzanna about where to find him. He has a book out called The Mandela of Being, where he talks to us at being at peace in the moment, being safe where you are and in that moment. We all got to learn to do that. We've got to learn to be that tranquil place in the middle of the restless waters, because there will always be trauma out there. There will always be drama. And I think our lesson in this lifetime is not to buy others' dramas, to stay clear of it. And Richard Moss, with the book of Mandela of Being, will be our guest on the 22nd. So we've got some great shows. Right now, what we're going to be doing is talking to you. And so please give us a call. And, of course, the number is 558-1110, 1-800-543-1110. And I want to also mention before we go, and you're going to have to give me the clue, Jim. We want to end with the back of my card again, which we always say. Our first listener, hello, Carol, are you there?
Hi, Susanna.
Hi, Carol, where are you calling from? Are you in Omaha?
Yes, I'm in Omaha.
Okay. Have you ever lived west of here?
Yes, I'm from Seattle originally.
Is that west? You know,
that's west.
Oh, my Lord, if I could have listened to my geography guy a little bit better. Let me just tell you, Carol, there are thoughts of you in Seattle still. And I'm picking up some kind of communication from them that is going to be within the next 4 months out of the blue. That is just going to be fun. Fun. So you can plan on that. Now, Carol, has your back been bothering you lately?
A little bit, yes.
Okay. Well, I have this year you taking charge of your health. I'm going to say there's going to be continued health improvements and weight loss ahead for you. Are you okay with that?
That sounds fine.
Okay. I'm also going to tell you that you will be standing in a kitchen, and it's got a white floor. It's a little dirty, and you're going to notice it's dirty. Try not to look at the floor. Try not to let it bother you. But you're going to be standing in another's kitchen, and you're going to hear something that is going to be like an aha with the distant past. So it'll be helping you understand the past, and I feel very, very good about that, all right?
Okay, and I have a question for
That's
you.
right. Hold on.
Last week, and I'm looking for work, but you never got a chance to finish the call because you ran out of time at the end of your show.
Well, give me a minute, but first of all, I want to say that. Did you understand that you're going to hear something that'll help you understand the past?
The past, yes.
Okay. Carol, when we're talking about looking for a job, how do you feel you are as a worker?
As a what worker?
As a worker.
Excellent.
Excellent. And what kind of job are you looking for, Carol?
I'm a registered nurse.
Okay. Well, I must tell you that I do feel you're having a job before November's over.
That sounds good.
Okay. How do you feel you work with others?
Well.
I do believe so, too. And you were in management before?
Yes.
Okay. Can I just say that you have a tendency to do that a little too much?
Okay.
How about if I said you sort of take on too much? How do you feel? How do you feel about that statement?
I can take over. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to want you to sort of maybe take a little relaxing and understand that the job you will have before November is over, which is rather soon, is going to be different than before. And it's going to be a job where you will not be in management. And
Okay.
I need you not to feel responsible for the whole world. Okay?
Okay.
And I want to also mention that the back problem is sometimes, Carol, is because you feel like you carry the weight of the world.
Right.
If I did that, my back would hurt me too.
Yes.
Okay? So I want you to relax. Want you to know that you are a good worker and the job is there for you. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Attitude of gratitude there. Okay? Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you, Suzanna.
Bye-bye. We're going to take a break. Come back to Laura, who's on our toll-free line. Isn't that cool, having toll-free lines? We'll be right back.
Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
We're back. Life with Psychic Suzanna at 1110 KFAB. This is your show. This is the place you want to be to grow and get healthier on the inside as well as the outside. We've got some great people lined up, so be sure and pass the word. 8 o'clock, Sunday nights, right here. Now, Jim.
Yes.
As we're going into the area, you told me that you got to see me on TV. Is that right?
I did. I couldn't believe it today. It was like 12:15. I mean, I was checking out the football action on this 9th week.
And instead, you saw this sweet and innocent woman on TKN. I want you to know that I'm on TKN right now. And you can go on their website and you can look it up and watch the show. We talk about some of the psychic stuff more in depth than what we're doing here on radio. Jim, the other thing that I thought was very nice about you, you're a little protective kind of soul. You wanted to be sure. You said to me, how do we handle crank calls, didn't you, Jim?
I sure did.
And what did I tell you?
You're going to handle them.
That's exactly right. You know what? We want people to question psychics. We want people to use their common sense. And if they're not, I don't want them listening because, well, yes, I want everybody listening. Pass the word. But what we want people to do is have questions and have things. Now, when I'm on FMs, I don't get time to let you ask questions. I will always do that here. So please feel free to give us a call at 558-1110 locally, or 1-800-543-1110. And we're going to Laura. Hello, Laura.
Hi.
Laura, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Norfolk area.
Well, welcome to Laura. Laura, first of all...
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, just hear through the phone, honey. Don't hear through the radio. Go through the phone.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Can you go through the phone? Oh. Laura?
Yes.
All right. Let's try to stay with me on the phone. If you try to listen on the radio, you might go crazy. So just talk to me right now, one-on-one, all right?
Okay.
All right. Laura, first of all, I'm going to say you have had like 3 really rough years, haven't you?
Yes.
Okay. You know what it's like, honey? It's like you're walking out of mud. The mud was knee-high about 3 years ago. And every step you take, you're shaking a little bit mud off of your body. And it's right now at the ankles. You're not quite through it. Okay?
Yes.
It's still at the ankles, but it is nowhere where you were 3 years ago. And I just want you to remember, Laura, you will not just thrive, but you will survive and thrive. Okay? Did I lose you?
No, I'm still here. I changed phones to see if I could get you a little louder, but it's still very quiet.
Okay, well, that's all right. Just keep listening. You're going to survive and thrive, and you're walking out of the past. Now, one of the problems, Laura, is are you aware of how much you think about the past?
Well, I do, considering that it's been difficult, yes.
Okay, here's the problem. If you carry yesterday's garbage with you everywhere you go, people are going to think you're a garbage collector. And then they're going to want to give you more garbage. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
It's sort of like, Laura, you think this is what you expect to happen. So that stuff from the past keeps happening over and over. Have you noticed that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's because you haven't changed your mind. You haven't walked completely out of it.
I've come quite a bit.
Yes, you. Oh, sweet Jesus, yes. Who you were 4 years ago is not who you are now. That I know, Laura. But the problem is you're using your past as sort of a security for your future, thinking that this is how people are going to be and I need to expect it. I want you to step out of that. And I want you to look for new things, new beginnings, new things. And I want you to start respecting yourself enough to say, I deserve more and I accept more.
Well, I'll tell you this much. When you have lost as much weight as I have due to a gastric bypass surgery, you kind of think of yourself as you used to be and not as you are now.
Well, that's understandable, but we've got to let that go, honey. And let's just talk about weight. Can we talk about weight for a moment?
Yes.
You're going to find this hard to believe. I believe before we choose body, we choose choose life. We choose our body. I actually was supposed to have Raquel Welch's body, but she got in before me and stole it. So I've ended up with a short little Lebanese body here. Okay? Mm-hmm. But this body is the vehicle of God in the world, just as yours is, Laura. So it doesn't matter what size you are in life. It matters where you are in your heart and where you are in your thoughts.
How do you not think of yourself as fat anymore?
Well, you think of yourself as God being...
40 years you've been fat.
Well, honey, you got to give it up. That is your...
Changed.
Honey, you got to give it up. You give it up like that. You decide you are not the past. You decide in this moment that you are not the past, and you decide with each breath you take that you will honor the body no matter what shape it is as the vehicle of God in the world. Laura, there is no one 6 feet under who wouldn't want to be where you are. No one. So you need to take this moment and use the attitude of gratitude and be grateful for the body that is moving through life. And with each breath, you honor the breath as the gift of life that God is giving you. You have every excuse to be miserable, but I'm asking you to step out of it. I'm asking you to step out of it because you are throwing away so much of your life. All you do is keep walking forward, honey. And each time you walk forward, you say to yourself, I honor my life as the gift from God. I honor my life as the gift to God. Thank you for calling, Laura. And I've got to tell you, this spring is going to be a great year. Yes, we're back. You're right where you should be, listening to Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB. By the way, let's thank the powers to be to allow me to have this show. This is quite a bit of fun, by the way. And I want to remind you that you can find the shows will be streamed on 1110 KFAB, or PsychicSusanna.com. And you please register with Life with Psychic Suzanna on Facebook to find out what's coming up ahead on the shows ahead. Right now, we're going to go to Randy. Hello, Randy.
How are you?
Oh, Randy, I am so blessed, it's embarrassing. Although I'm not Raquel Welch.
Oh.
I look nothing like Raquel Welch. Randy, first of all, I'm going to tell you a couple things, if I can.
Okay.
Have you ever heard... Gosh, what a gorgeous voice, though, Randy.
Thank you.
I might want you to talk to me a little bit later. But, Randy, are you aware that what the word procrastination means?
Yes.
Oh, sweet baby, do you ever. And, Randy, are you aware why you procrastinate?
Maybe a little bit of laziness.
Not at all.
No?
No! I'm not going to let you call yourself lazy.
Okay.
I'm going to let you call yourself a contemplator.
That's pretty good.
Oh, honey, you think about things so long by the time you do it, nobody cares.
I
Okay.
think you're right on.
And do you know why you think so long?
No.
Because you don't want to make a mistake.
Well, I think you're right.
So you're being very cautious by not saying anything, not doing anything, and you don't really want to cause a problem. So you just don't say anything.
Okay.
So a lot of people think that you don't care. Are you aware of that?
No.
Oh, trust me on this one. Do you know what the rule with communication is, Randy?
What's that?
You do it when you're above the ground. Okay?
Okay.
Randy, I'm going to ask that you step out and start communicating a little bit better. Okay?
All right.
Now, Randy, if I said that every thought you have about yourself hangs in your energy ring, what percentage would you think was negative about yourself that you think in a day?
Over 50%.
Well, do you know how stupid that is?
Yes.
Ask me why it's so stupid, Randy.
Why is it so stupid?
Because there's a lot of people who love you. Do you think they love garbage?
No.
Of course not. And when you put yourself down, you're putting down them. You're putting down them. You're saying, you're too dumb to know that I'm not good. Come on, Randy. You honor your life as the gift from God. And you honor what you do as the gift to God. Okay?
Okay.
Now, Randy, are you currently employed?
Yes.
Okay. Is it in the management area?
No.
Okay. Can I tell you management is talking about you?
Okay.
In a very nice way. Although they are noticing you're a bit of a procrastinator. Okay?
Okay.
So I need you to work on things, but I'm telling you financial improvement on a steady basis within 2 months. Okay?
Okay.
And we get a finder's fee of 10%. I'll share it with Jim. Don't worry. Just send it here. I'm also going to say someone in a black pickup is going to be telling you stories about family. Ignore black pickups.
Okay.
And a little bit of Tennessee action, babe. We'll talk later. Stay tuned to Life with Psychic Suzanna on 1110 KFAB.
Psychic Suzanna.
Can't get through on the radio show? Call Psychic Suzanna anytime at 712-276-9349. That's 712-276-9349. Or visit her webpage, PsychicSusanna.com.